Okay. What is up, everybody? 1 second here, folks. Okay. Welcome to 2022. I hope everybody's had a great New Year's. I actually slept through it. I went to go help my son with his computer yesterday. I got home about I want to say about 8 o'clock. I had planned to do this stream yesterday, but I fell asleep, and when I woke up, it was about 7 a.m. Eastern time. So here we are doing it on New Year's Day instead of New Year's Eve. How's everybody doing? It is the Godfather of VR, the ageless one of the man, Lincoln Clay. And we want to talk about what I'm looking forward to in 2022. So before we get into that, you guys might hear the fans going on, so it is a little bit warm in here, so I apologize. But with this Yeti microphone, it'll pick my voice up just as well as it'll pick these fans up. In fact, I think this Yeti mic might even have some noise canceling features, so you may not necessarily hear the fans to the point where it's distracting. But in any case, so before we talk about what I'm looking forward to in 2022, I do want to talk a little bit about this past year and my channel in particular. I definitely want to thank everyone who's supported me. This I think that was a huge milestone when I finally cracked 1,000 subs. But even if I hadn't done it, I was still grateful for my supporters just as well. And this past year, I think I've been all over the place in terms of my content. There was times where I was getting developer keys, trying to grow my channel that way. But all in all, I was mixing things up, whether it was for a developer impression or whether it was something that I just happened to want to play on that particular day. I was kind of all over the place, and those who follow my channel know that sim racing has been a part of my history since I've been on YouTube. I mean, I've done a lot of racing streams going all the way back to playing Drive Club in VR. A lot of GT Sports streams, the daily races, GT Sport VR, even though that was severely limited. I definitely want to thank people who tuned in to watch those streams, because watching time trials or watching one-on-one versus an elementary grade AI can get boring real fast. And I've gone in spurts with the sim racing. May play it for a couple of months, get off of it, play it for a few months, get off of it. But I would probably say what brought me back to sim racing on a more consistent basis was probably a set of Corsa Competizione and the ability to play it in VR, because although I did do a lot of Project Cars too, I did a lot of those streams, but and I really did like that game, but it did feel a little bit arcadey. I feel that a set of Corsa Competizione, even though I originally did not like the game, it ended up giving me the true simulator feeling that I was looking for. So here I am. I think had I gotten those things from PlayStation VR, I may not have broadened my horizons, because that's what brought me to this point. But in any case, so once I bought all this equipment and started dabbling more and more and more and more into sim racing, I was wondering a little bit, would I lose subs? Would only the sim racing crowd stick around? Because throughout the past few years, I've noticed, like for instance, whenever I would do GT Sport streams, only those that like GT Sport would kind of tune into those streams. So I kind of thought that once I started committing more to sim racing after buying all this equipment, especially a set of Corsa Competizione, I thought I might lose subs, and I was debating about whether to start another channel or not, dedicated solely to sim racing. But the total opposite has happened. I've been gaining subs. I mean, be it that it may only be one sub a day, or one sub every other day, or even one sub a week. I've still been gaining subs instead of losing subs, and I definitely appreciate that. And I think a lot of it could be UK subs. I haven't dug that deep into the analytics, but I do know the sim racing as well as real racing is big. GT3 racing is big over in the UK, and they have shown me a tremendous amount of love. And my good friends Ham and Kevy D, my son says that he thinks I've been hanging around them enough that certain words that come out of my mouth is starting to come out of my mouth with a British accent. So I find that to be kind of funny. But I absolutely love it, and I love the support that I've been getting from the UK, and it's been a blast. So thank you so much. And I think now we can get into what I've been looking forward to as far as 2022 goes. What do we got here? Great Tantrum. Happy New Year. Same to you, my guy. I appreciate it. I appreciate you supporting my channel. I know you've been here for a while. Thank you so much. And I've seen you in the chat in other VR streams as well. So we definitely know that you're passionate about VR, and again, definitely appreciate your support. So I got to pull up my documents here because there was a lot of things that I was looking forward to in 2022. There's no way I could have remembered it all, so I had to make notes. Okay. Let's see here. All right, what I'm gonna have to do real quick, you guys are gonna see it. You guys are gonna see me go through my PC, because what I'm gonna do is pull up YouTube so I can open up the chat and put it on TV screen. So you guys are gonna see the chat up in the corner. Hopefully that's not distracting. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. Not the most professional looking, but we'll go ahead and leave it there. That will allow me to just look up and see the chat rather than switching back and forth in my phone, because I've got the documents here. I wrote the notes there in my phone, so. So, the first thing I'm looking forward to, and I'm kind of going by through the months when these things are probably rumored to release. But I want to start with Hitman 3 on PC VR, and I think it's supposed to come out now that we are officially into January. I think it's supposed to come out this month. And this game originally came out on PlayStation VR. And it looks to me like this game had I don't know, I can't remember how long ago it came out. I can't remember whether it was a few months ago, 6 months ago, whenever. But the bottom line is it had exclusivity on PlayStation VR. And that was probably a smart move, because I believe that the PC VR version that we're getting is going to have the full 6 degrees of freedom, meaning that we'll be able to play this game the way it was meant to be played. The PlayStation version of it the positive side that I'll say of it is that it actually looked pretty doggone good for PlayStation VR. It was definitely one of the better looking games. The controllers was the issue. What do we got here? So for me, I hope 2022 means CSL GT Pro and GT7 with full VR support. I don't see any reason, I'll get to that tantrum. That's part of the things that that I'm looking forward to in 2022, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't get VR support. But we'll definitely get to that. That's not too far away because my notes, I've listed them in what month that I think is going to come out. So sticking to the Hitman 3 thing. Hitman 3 on PlayStation VR, I did like it, and a lot of people complained about having to use the DualShock 4, but I think they did the best they could with it. I think if they would have tried to use the Move controllers, I think it would have been an absolute mess because of the limitations of PlayStation VR. But the big thing that I was dealing with trying to play Hitman on PlayStation VR was the drift. Sometimes I would see the controllers starting to tilt and shaking the controllers and that kind of stuff only helped a little. So I ended up dropping that game, as they say in gaming terms. I ended up dropping that game. And when it comes out on PlayStation, when it comes out on PC VR, more than likely I will buy it again, and I plan to put a lot of time into it because the scene where you use that cable to wrap it around someone's neck to strangle them, the first time I saw that, I thought the game was going to be Move controllers, and I was like absolutely ecstatic about it. I couldn't wait to play that game. And then we had the situation where we had to play it with a DualShock 4, and then that scene when I went to strangle someone with the cable, it was weird because when I went to wrap the cord around their neck, it kind of went through their neck first before it strangled them. So that was weird. Great tantrum. I still need to get Hitman 3. I did get Hitman 1 and 2 via PlayStation Plus. I did the same thing. I think what it was is at the time, I think that one of the Hitmans, I can't remember, 1 or 2, was through PlayStation Plus, and I think you needed to buy Hitman 3 in order to get Hitman 2 and Hitman 1 with VR support. So kind of a strong arm move, but also a smart move too. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, and I think that's one of the things that I am planning on picking up, because this is going to be a AAA game with the kind of VR support that we like. As far as PC VR goes, I think this might be the first AAA game that we're going to get coming from a AAA publisher developer, probably since Lone Echo. Now I think before Lone Echo 2 came out, I think the last time we got a AAA game from like a AAA publisher in VR was probably Half-Life Alyx. So this is one of those moments where we're going to get a true AAA experience in VR and don't have to fumble around with Vorpex. I don't have a problem with Vorpex, but I guess if I can't get the native experience, I guess I'm not really breaking my neck to jump into Vorpex. I bought the program, but I haven't really dove into it. So that's that. The next thing I'm looking forward to, also this month, is Totally Baseball. You guys have probably seen me play that game before in VR. The multiplayer is coming up this month. I believe the developers left a comment on my stream that the multiplayer will be coming this month, and when that happens, I'll jump back on there and do a few Totally Baseball streams, because baseball is definitely one of my favorite sports, and I was trying to work on that game to try to get my pitching down, but obviously you guys have seen that I've been a little bit occupied, so yeah, when that comes out this month, the multiplayer, I will get back into trying to get back on point with my pitching before jumping into a multiplayer game, but I'm definitely looking for that. Great Tantrum, Hitman VR PC is going to be the best version, no doubt. PSVR 2 might make it play more like the upcoming PC. You know, that's a great point. Great tantrum. I think that I think what they're ultimately going to do is port the PC version over to the PSVR 2 and call that the official PSVR 2 version. So for those who get PSVR 2 will get the same experience that we get on PC, and they'll play the game the way it was meant to be played instead of this makeshift situation that we got with the DualShock 4. It's not a bad situation, but I think they did what they had to, is because of the limitations of the vanilla PS4. And I think what I've come to find out is I think they only have so much resources with the PS4 that they have to decide what's the priority to them. And I think if they prioritize graphics, I think they're not going to be able to implement the Move controllers, or vice versa. I think if they create a game where they implement the Move controllers, there's going to be some kind of compromise somewhere else. I think if you take a look at a game like Blood and Truth, which is an excellent game, definitely good graphics, and I think that game was I think because the Move controllers didn't have thumbsticks, I think that's the reason that game turned out the way it did. So, you know, Sony learned, they learned from PSVR 2. They listened to the community that we wanted thumbsticks. I just wish that they would have gave it to us, during the current PSVR instead of us having to wait until PSVR 2 comes out. So, but hey, better late than never. So the next thing that I'm looking forward to is next month, February. The official next-gen versions of Assetto Corsa Competizione. Well, here, let me give this guy the... I don't know what's been going on with these bots popping in with these, with this spam. Anyway, he's gone. It'll probably take a second for you guys to see it. Gone. So, February. I'm looking forward to the official version, the next-gen version of Assetto Corsa Competizione, coming to next-gen consoles, in particular, PS5 and Xbox Series X. The game is currently available on consoles, on the Xbox One and the PS4, PS4 Pro, Xbox One X. But those are last-gen versions of the game. The game, I believe, runs, I think on the PS4 Pro, runs 1440p, 30 frames per second. I think there was a workaround that you could do where you can unlock 60 frames per second on the PS4 Pro, but that would take the game down to 1080p as far as the resolution goes, which I'm past all that resolution wars and, my console does 2160. Well, my console does 2161, therefore my console is better. I'm way past all that crap. So I don't have a problem with 1080p 60. So the shame of that is that, I wish you could have had VR support, but I know it's limited. But that's one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to February. ACC, yes. And I think they're going to stick to that date too, because they can't afford to delay that, because Gran Turismo 7 comes out in March, and we know that when it comes to sim racing, the Gran Turismo franchise undoubtedly has the biggest user base. So if ACC gets delayed till after March, it might be a hard sell to try to get people to get on board with it, because everybody's going to be engulfed in GT7. So I think they're going to stick with that February release date. I don't think there's going to be any delays. So I think they just haven't given us a concrete release date in February, but I do think they're going to stick with that. And I do, even though I'm guessing that it won't have VR support, because it's going to be the official PS5 version of it, and I just don't see it having VR support. I mean, the current version of it right now doesn't have VR support. I don't see it getting VR support until PSVR 2 comes out, and that's one of the reasons why I'm excited for it. I plan on buying it, even though I don't need it because I'm having the time of my life on PC, but I plan on buying it when it comes out in February on PS5, and I will do a few flat screen races. And I do expect it to get VR support when PSVR 2 comes along. So that's the main reason why I'm really looking forward to ACC in February, the official next-gen versions. Not only that, I expected the flat screen version of the game, regardless of what the resolution is, I expect the game to run 60 frames per second. If I had to make a guess, even on PS5, I think it might run 1440p at 60 frames per second. But I think if they do run the resolution at 2160, 60 frames per second, I think you guys are going to be getting a treat, because you're going to be getting close to, I think you're going to be getting close to the PC version in terms of the graphics. And I think right now, as far as racing games goes, I think right now, Assetto Corsa Competizione and probably Automobilista 2 are the best looking sims on PC right now. Those, the flat screen version of those games. As far as the VR part goes, Automobilista 2 is undoubtedly the best looking in VR. I wish that ACC looked a little bit better, but hey, it's doable. Great Tantrum. GT7 is a whole nother caliber. It may not be a sim, but GT7 is probably going to be overshadowing ACC. ACC will be best for the sim drivers, though, without question. And that's exactly why I think they're going to stick to that February release date. They can't afford to go past February, because they're going to have to fight through all that GT7 stuff, because you see they're starting to build up the hype train for GT7 little by little. And there's actually a lot more people looking forward to GT7 than I thought. I'm hearing people that, in my opinion, are not really true sim racers are looking forward to GT7. They talk about how beautiful the game looks, which it does. It does look absolutely gorgeous. So what do we got next? This is real life racing. I am looking forward to, I think in February also, the debut of the real life BMW M4 GT3. This car was unveiled last summer, I believe, and the car was supposed to compete in. It was supposed to make its debut, I think, in July. But I think the car was damaged. It was damaged during qualifying, or not qualifying. I think the car was damaged during practice, so they pushed the debut back. And it's going to make its debut at Daytona, which I believe is in February. So I know that the car is going to make its debut at Daytona. What I'm not sure is when Daytona for GT3 actually happens. I don't know if it's going to be in January or February. I think it's in February, but for those who are interested, just kind of keep your eyes peeled in case it happens in January. This car, the sim racing version of this car, I think has been available on iRacing for a little while now, and we just got it on ACC. I'm thinking maybe about a month ago. And it is definitely the overwhelming crowd favorite on ACC. Definitely an amazing car. And when I go into these open lobby races, almost half of the cars that's competing in those open lobbies are BMWs. So that being said, I'm looking forward to see how the car stacks up with the real life car. I'm looking forward to seeing how this car stacks up against the competition. So that's a little bit off of gaming, but I think it's connected to gaming, because I think the whole sim racing world, people who play iRacing, people who play ACC, I think that part of the gaming landscape is going to be keeping their eye on the real life car to see how it does. So, what do we got next? And here we are, GT7. We do have an exact date for that. GT7. Be right back. Got to get some coffee? Okay, well, you go ahead and do that, and I'll take a second to grab a drink. And so next up will be GT7. Okay, so it is 9:35 a.m. Eastern Time. I do need to try to wrap this up within the next half an hour, 45 minutes. Best Buy is opening today at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I have to go there and pick up a power supply for my son's PC. It turns out it appears that what appears to be the problem with my son's PC. I originally thought it might be the graphics card, but once I actually made it over there to have a look at it, it's starting to look like it's the power supply, which is a cheap fix. I've seen a 700 watt power supply at Best Buy for $60. So go over there and pick that up. Should only take me about 5-10 minutes to put it in his PC, and he's back in business. So the one thing that surprised me is that my son, he hasn't lost his mind about not being able to use his PC. He said he could survive without it for a day or two, so he's been playing Gears of War on his Xbox One X to get him by in the meantime. So that being said, again, I have to try to wrap this up here within a half hour, 45 minutes, so I can be at the door at Best Buy when it opens, grab the power supply, and then head on out. Okay, so yeah, so in March 4th, 2022 to be exact, we have GT7 releasing, and there's like a lot of things surrounding GT7 why I'm excited about that. Even though it won't have VR support at the time, more than likely I will buy this game day one. Originally I wasn't going to, but I think I will because, hell, I'm going to be buying ACC when it releases next month. So I think I'll go ahead and buy GT7 when it releases day one. At first I was a little reluctant to want to buy it day one because it's going to be tough to play that game and in my opinion know that the VR is already baked into the game and all ready to go. But we have to wait until the headset comes out before we get to experience it. But but hey, ACC is still going to be, even when we get PlayStation VR 2, I'm going to be playing a lot of GT7, but ACC is still going to be my home. But yeah, that's one of the reasons, in addition to the game itself releasing, I'm excited about the recently released Fanatec GT DD Pro wheelbase. Is basically the CSL you want it. Yeah, you're right about that. So I'm a little, I want to see the excitement with the Fanatec CSL DD Pro that was made specifically for the PlayStation. With the GT7 bundle. I'm starting to see on Reddit people are slowly starting to get theirs because they paid for the Express bundle. They paid the extra $150 to be guaranteed that they get it before Christmas. Everybody else is going to have to wait until March. But I want to see the excitement surrounding that, because as of right now, the only licensed direct drive wheelbase out there for PlayStation is the Fanatec F1 bundle, which is basically a Formula One racing wheel with this Podium DD1 wheelbase, and that goes for $1,800. That is a lot of money. So I think the CSL DD Pro is definitely going to be a more affordable solution, and it's still going to be direct drive. I think that's going to set the PlayStation GT7 world on fire. And I'm looking forward to seeing the excitement about that. As far as also with GT7, I'm looking forward to the Gran Turismo championships and seeing the biggest names in in the GT franchise compete. The Igor Fragas, the Coque Lopez's. I want to see what wheelbase they use for those FIA championships, because I think in past years they've been going with Thrustmaster, because I think that's who their partnership is with. The CSL DD Pro that just came out, I don't know if that makes them the official partner with PlayStation and that's the wheelbase that they've been running with, or will they stick with the Thrustmasters? We will see. Great Tantrum, I still need a PS5, but it will run on my PS4 Pro though. Yes, absolutely. So I that is my guess. But Great Tantrum, you said, did you hear a rumor about Logitech possibly bringing a direct drive system? It's a rumor because Thrustmaster is bringing a DD-based system. I have not heard a rumor that they are coming out with a direct drive wheelbase, but I have seen content creators ask the question, will Logitech respond to the CSL DD? Because Fanatec set the sim racing world on fire with the CSL DD. It's an affordable direct drive wheelbase. I mean, SimMagic is out there with the Alpha Mini, which is affordable as well, but the rest of their ecosystem costs an arm and a leg. You know, they, $400-500 wheel, $800 pedals. Fanatec has made the entire ecosystem affordable. They have affordable wheels, affordable wheelbases, affordable pedals. So they have set the sim racing world on fire, and in my opinion, Thrustmaster had no choice but to respond. I think Logitech, on the other hand, I don't think their back is against the wall the way Thrustmasters is, because they make a lot of other products. Everything computer related. Logitech makes something for it: mouses, keyboards, cameras. I think computer accessories, just about any computer accessory you can think of, I think Logitech makes a product in that category. So I think I almost think Logitech might look at their wheelbases the way Microsoft looks at the Xbox division, that is not a division that they're relying on to be the bulk of their profits, of their income. But I don't know. But Thrustmaster, on the other hand, unless Thrustmaster is owned by a company that produces a lot of other products the way Logitech does, I'm led to believe that Thrustmaster only deals with gaming hardware, flight sticks, wheelbases. So they definitely have to respond to the CSL DD, and they already dropped their first hint a few days ago, and I guess we're supposed to get another tidbit. I guess they want to do it in a cryptic manner, the way, they basically want to do some Kojima shit and drop us little tidbits over the weeks to tease us. But a lot of people are speculating that the Thrustmaster's direct drive wheelbase is probably going to release in March, in time for the GT7, for the release of GT7. So I think Thrustmaster, they have no choice but to respond. I think Logitech, on the other hand, I don't think they're in a position where they have to move quickly, because as of right now, Fanatec, as far as the DD, the direct drive wheelbase market goes, Fanatec is eating them alive. No way around it. And I think Thrustmaster and Logitech can get in there and mix it up with them. I think all the other ones like SimMagic and SimiCube, or whatever the case may be, they may come out with a competitor to the CSL DD, but they don't have the ecosystem that Fanatec does. So Tantrum. As a Logitech G29 owner, my logical upgrade is the Fanatec CSL GT DD Pro system. That would be correct. I'm going to be caught in a little bit of a dilemma because I think in my case, I still have my Thrustmaster T150. I just sold my CSL Elite. I sold it to a young lady who's a streamer on Twitch. It's already been shipped. So I have this wheelbase and I still have my Thrustmaster T150. I have to keep that one at the moment because it is my only wheelbase that I have that is compatible with the PlayStation. So I do plan to get a CSL GT DD Pro, but I only plan to get it once it is available as a standalone wheelbase because I don't need that GT7 wheel and I don't need the pedals, as you guys can see. The dilemma that I'm caught up in is that even if I do get that wheelbase, I'm not going to be mounting and unmounting wheelbases all the time. I'm not going to unmount this wheelbase so I can put the DD Pro on this cockpit because it's just I'm too lazy to do that. And besides, this is my baby, a 20 Newton meter wheelbase. I'm going to unhook this and put a 8 Newton meter wheelbase on here. That's not to degrade the DD Pro. It's just ACC on PC is going to be my home. That's where I'm going to be doing the majority of my sim racing. Even though I think GT7 is going to be amazing, I'm still going to be doing the majority of it here. So I don't see myself switching back and forth. I think what I might ultimately end up doing is getting a DD Pro and getting that cheap ass play seat challenge, which is basically a lawn chair. I might end up getting that so I don't have to go back to the coffee table and lawn chair, which is basically what I'd be doing. I would kind of be making a lateral movement, so because I just don't have the room to put another cockpit in here, and I don't want to spend that kind of money again for another cockpit, so I'll come up with something. Tantrum, unless Logitech improved their True Force as a great viable solution with GT7. You know, the people are saying with the True Force wheelbase, they think that is a precursor to Logitech coming out with a direct drive wheelbase because they feel like, I guess with the True Force, it's still 2.1 Newton meters, just like their G29. But I guess what the True Force does is it brings out the detail in the road that you would get from a direct drive wheelbase. And people are saying, why would you develop and invest in that kind of technology if you're not going to come out with a direct drive wheelbase? So we'll have to see. So for those of you who are aware of True Force, it is on display at Best Buy. And I'm not going to lie, you know, when you put your hands on it, because the wheel is turning on its own, you're not driving the car at the display that they're showing you. All you do is basically put your hands on it and the wheel takes over and you just feel the force feedback yourself. And it definitely feels way more detailed than my Thrustmaster T150. No doubt about that. So for somebody who wants to jump into sim racing and they plan to do it casually, maybe the True Force is a good entry wheelbase. But I think what could possibly happen, I think if someone goes out of their way to buy a True Force and feel all that detail, and they get better at sim racing, they're going to want to start upgrading. So from that standpoint, my advice would probably be to just jump straight to the CSL DD, you know, or the DD Pro. So, what I'm looking forward to in 2022, I just mentioned GT Sport. So also in my notes is the CSL DD Pro, which goes hand in hand with GT7, and I'll just, you know, quickly reiterate that I'm looking forward to seeing what the reception is going to be once the general public can start getting their hands on the DD Pro. Anybody who's gotten a DD Pro as of right now, they were either a YouTuber or they were someone that paid the extra $150 to have it flown to them in order to get it in time for Christmas. So yeah. So there's way more stuff as far as GT7 surrounding GT7 that I'm looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to when PSVR 2 comes out. I'm looking forward to when they have the FIA championship tournaments. Are they going to integrate the racers and let them choose whether they want to go flat screen or go VR, or will they separate the two? I'm curious to see how that's going to play out too. So that's another reason why I'm looking forward to GT7, March 4th, 2022. Moving on, we just right there, Thrustmaster. They're coming out with their the direct drive wheelbase this year. It was supposed to come out last year, from what I've heard. Again, they're dropping these little cryptic messages in a Kojima type manner, and a lot of people are speculating that it'll be here in time for the launch of GT7. So, and also, Thrustmaster is saying that their new direct drive wheelbase will be compatible with add-ons and stuff like that of the current Thrustmaster ecosystem. So, I definitely expect to see a couple of people with a direct drive, the Thrustmaster direct drive wheelbase, using that $1,100 Ferrari Formula One wheel, that's probably Thrustmaster's slickest looking wheel. That is a slick looking wheel. Now I don't think Fanatec has anything that looks like that. So, but it wouldn't do me any good because of that. Because it looks like it's got a huge display screen. Wouldn't do me any good since I race in VR. Tantrum Logitech G293 True Force is $400, and the CSL GT Pro starts at $700. Yeah, but you also have to keep in mind that you've got 2.1 Newton meters of torque with the True Force versus the 5 Newton meters of torque on the CSL DD Pro. So there's no way around it. You're gonna have to pay. And I honestly think that anybody that buys a True Force and they feel all that detail, I think and they're passionate about sim racing, even though they're just getting started, they're eventually going to want to upgrade. And they're going to end up finding out that the GT DD Pro is going to be your cheapest option as far as a meaningful upgrade goes. Because anything else is discontinued. Unless they want to go the route of, these Thrustmaster T300s, Thrustmaster TGT, one of those type wheelbases. But those are still belt-driven, I think belt-driven or gear-driven wheelbases. So if they want to experience direct drive, I think the CSL GT DD Pro is going to be your cheapest option as far as having a bundle that works on the PlayStation. I mean, if you go the PC route, you can get the CSL DD for $350. The cheapest wheel, I think, is $140. I think that's I can't remember. That might be the BMW a BMW wheel for $140. So that puts you at about $500 plus the CSL pedals. That puts you at about $570. So if you want to look at it that way, I think that especially if you plan on playing this on PC, I think the extra $170 that you would pay is worth the upgrade over the True Force. So yeah, if you look at the cheapest pricing, let's see here. I'd get the $1,000 deal that also comes with the 8 Newton meter kit and the load cell brake pedal. Absolutely. I mean, and that's the other thing. You can upgrade that CSL GT bundle. You can upgrade the wheel, you can upgrade the pedals. And if you were to do something like buy a Formula Racing wheel and then buy V3 pedals or something, eventually you might decide that that you might want to spend the super duper dough and get the Podium 1 for $1,800, which is I don't know. Wow. So, speaking of that type of price, people are speculating that Fanatec may come out with like a CSW direct drive wheelbase, something to replace the Club Sport wheelbase that's been discontinued. It produces 8 Newton meters of torque, and people are still praising that wheelbase, even though it's a belt-driven wheelbase. Some people have even said that I even saw one video where one guy said his Club Sport wheelbase produces more detail than the DD1, which that's saying a lot. So I think before these direct drive wheelbases came along, the Club Sport wheelbase was the best wheelbase out there. So next up, what I'm looking forward to is the reveal of the PlayStation VR 2 headset. There was rumors that it was going to be revealed last month in December. Now new rumors are saying that it could get revealed in February next month. I hope that's the case, because I'm kind of tired of the silence. I've been a little bit frustrated with that. I think that, again, I felt like Sony is acting like they're scared to talk about PlayStation VR. They act like if they mention the words VR, people are going to run to the Xbox or something. I've said it before, Sony has made over $2 billion off of the current PlayStation VR. And I think the PlayStation VR users have a much higher attach rate than the flat screeners, because I think the flat screeners in the PlayStation format only have a few games. There are those that buy a lot of games, like my friend Sick Humor. He buys a ton of games. But I think there are those that only going to buy, Madden, NBA, 2K, Call of Duty, and that's probably it. But I think PlayStation VR users have bought a ton of games because we want to experience a ton of different things. We have a much higher attach rate. Therefore, we put way more money into the PlayStation ecosystem when you include PlayStation VR. We bought the console, we bought the headset, and we bought a ton of games to go with it, and some of us bought the aim controllers. So we put way more money into the PlayStation format than the flat screeners, and I think we deserve to be kept in the loop of what's going on instead of this tight-lipped stuff that's going on. So let's see here. Winter CES is January 4th. January 5th through the 8th. I don't think we're going to get anything extra. I don't think we're going to get anything extra. I think Sony, when they're ready to reveal the headset, they're going to do it on their own stage. I don't even think that we're going to get a tidbit. I mean, the last tidbit that we got when they did that summit at I think at the CSS last summer or whatever that was. I think that was more for developers, and I think they did it through video. So I don't expect us to get any kind of information here, and I really don't think the Consumer Electronics shows is a good spot to unveil the headset. I think the only thing that Sony might even talk about as far as VR goes is maybe possibly how they might be using it outside the PlayStation ecosystem, how they might use the technology in cars or something like that. So I think anything directed at us, we're not going to get any extra information. I don't think we're going to get anything out of Sony until they're actually ready to reveal the headset. So hopefully that rumor is true that they are going to release it in February. Moving on, no concrete date. The new Oculus headset, I think codename Project Cambrio. This is supposed to be a high-end headset. It's going to be a standalone headset, but it's supposed to be a high-end headset is really all they told us. That being said, I have to guess that this headset will probably cost anywhere between $500 and $900, the way they're touting it as a premium headset. We will have to see. Um, Maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. I'll have to wait until we get more information. The biggest thing that would make me apprehensive about picking that headset up is the problems that I'm having with the Quest 2 relative to the Oculus Link. Whenever I use the Quest on the PC, it will disconnect 5, 6, 7 times before it stays connected, and that has been really frustrating, and that's why you guys have seen me go back to the Rift S. It's more reliable other than the robotic voice, and I've solved that by using an external mic. So Tantrum, they might reveal new tech there, but it may not be PSVR 2. Remember, they revealed an 8K display last month. Yes, and people had to like read between the lines and see the VR technology and all this kind of stuff and how it's connected, and I didn't like all that stuff went in one ear and out the other. I don't care what kind of VR connection this 8K display might have. You know, basically wake me up when they're ready to reveal the headset. Anything else is just going in one ear and out the other, you know. So we'll see what happens with that. Next up that I'm looking forward to in 2022, hopefully it will come out in 2022, is Thrill of the Fight 2. That was like my most anticipated game of 2021. It was supposed to come out last year, but the game has been delayed to 2022 according to the developer. And if I had to guess, I'm guessing maybe the developer might be having problems with the multiplayer, because I read an interview, I think about a year and a half ago. I read an interview, and the developer was saying that he had got tons of requests for multiplayer. And he was saying that the problem with adding a multiplayer to the game is that he would have to completely tear the game down and then build it back up in order to implement the multiplayer. That being said, when Thrill of the Fight 2 comes out, especially on Quest 2, don't expect any graphics that's going to be better than what we already got because of the limitations of the Quest 2. PC, I can't really speak for it. I think across the board, I think Thrill of the Fight 2 is going to have the same graphics that we're getting from the current Thrill of the Fight. It's going to be multiplayer, but it's definitely way more. To me, I feel like it's more of a simulation than Golfer. What's up? How you been? I definitely like Thrill of the Fight much better than Creed. But to my knowledge right now, Creed is the only boxing game out there online. There was another game that came out on PlayStation VR, I think called Alien Fight Club or something. I can't remember exactly what it was called. I bought it, and it's not the kind of boxing game you think it is. To me, it works with the same principles of damn, I can't remember the name of that boxing game that's got the pirates and all that kind of other stuff in there. Shoot. And I got the damn game too. But that boxing game in VR, you fighting pirates and robots and Amazons and stuff like that, and it's not a true boxing game. It's a game of to me, it's a game of timing. You have to time when the opponent is going to attack, and you can't just get out of the way. You have to respond a certain way. If they throw a punch from a certain angle, you have to move a certain way. If they throw a punch from a certain angle, you have to block it. And if you don't follow that, prompt, you will get hit. And that Alien Fight Club or whatever it was called kind of worked on that same principle. I thought it wasn't for me. I'm not gonna Knockout League. There we go. Great Tantrum. Thank you. God, man, it's like this shit is escaping me. Because it's out of my head. I don't see myself revisiting that game. It's out of my head, so that's probably why I don't remember the name offhand. And I've been consumed with sim racing, so yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Thrill of the Fight. Next up that I'm looking forward to, I don't and I put these two together in the same, and that's a Splinter Cell VR and Assassin's Creed VR that I believe is coming to the Oculus Quest. We don't have a date. All we know is that I think that it is still in development, to my knowledge. So we may not see it until 2023. But I did put it down because it is only the beginning of 2022. So who knows? Maybe we'll see it late 2022, if not early 2023. So, but as far as the Splinter Cell part goes, I hope they base it on the same principle of Splinter Cell Double Agent. As far as the multiplayer goes, if it has multiplayer, I hope they do it that way, because I absolutely loved Splinter Cell Double Agent, the multiplayer. I loved it so much I didn't even bother playing the campaign. So also, it probably won't happen, but the other thing that I'm looking forward to is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas coming to the Oculus Quest. I don't think it's probably not going to happen in 2022, but if it does, that would be great. I played a little bit of San Andreas. I believe that was on the PlayStation 2. I've never owned a PlayStation 2, so at the time that I played San Andreas, I think I was playing it on somebody else's PS2. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be interesting to see if we get the original graphics, or if we get like some remastered type graphics. But I think as far as the story goes, actually Grand Theft Auto 5 is the only one where I finished the campaign. Grand Theft Auto 4 with Nico Bellic, I got pretty far in that one, but I didn't finish it. But still, all the Grand Theft Autos that's been out, San Andreas is the one that kind of stood out to me, because I think that was the first one where they were taking chances and using language that, like, raises an eyebrow. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I hope they do not censor it. A lot of people are concerned about censorship, because I guess they put a little bit of censorship in Resident Evil 4 on the Oculus Quest. We will see. But that's definitely on my list of games that I'm definitely going to get day one when that comes out. And let's see here. And I think lastly, PSVR 2 launch titles. And naturally, GT7 is going to be a launch title for PSVR 2. I think Grand Theft Auto 5 is going to be a launch title for PSVR 2 as well. We do know that the 4K version of Grand Theft Auto will be out in March. I think they're supposed to be getting a 4K 60 frames per second version of it. I don't plan to buy that. I don't see any point in it. I already have it on PC. The biggest reason why I bought it on PC, the biggest reason why I bought it on PC was for the Luke Ross mod, for the VR mod. I wasn't able to do it right, but it's still there. I don't see any reason to buy the 4K 60 part of it when it comes out on PS5. But us here in the VR landscape, we believe that it's a given that it's going to come to PSVR 2. And that I will pick that up day one, even though I don't need it, because I think that's going to be the spot, and I think it's going to be a timed exclusive as well. But when it launches, I think it's going to be the only spot where you can play GT5 online in VR officially. Currently, with the Luke Ross mod, you can try to play GTA 5 in VR, the multiplayer mode. You can try it, but if the anti-cheat picks it up, it'll ban your Rockstar account. So it's not worth the risk. Assuming that it comes to PS5, that will be your official way to play GTA 5 in VR online and not have to worry about getting in trouble. Tantrum, I finished GTA 5, but it was at a time my brother was into it. We played a lot of multiplayer on there. Good stuff. Yeah, definitely. The multiplayers on both GTA 5 and GTA 4 are pretty good. I just don't like the shark card stuff. They put you in a situation where you either the way the pricing of the items go in Grand Theft Auto, the pricing models of the items that you want to get and the pricing models of the shark cards put you in a position where you either don't have enough or you get forced to buy too much. Case in point, I think they had a car. Let's say there's a car on Grand Theft Auto that costs $1 million. Well, they don't have a $1 million shark card. They either have a shark card that's like $500,000 or a shark card that's 1.5 million. They don't have $1 million, so it forces you to either buy 3 of the $500,000 shark card or jump straight over to the $1.5 million shark card, which still leaves you with a $500,000 left. So you're not going to be able to buy anything for a $500,000 unless it's cheap junk. You're going to have to keep buying shark cards because they overlap each other. You know, they don't meet like this. You don't have $1 million here for the shark card, $1 million here for whatever it is you're trying to buy. They overlap each other. It's either the shark card, the product that you want. Well, that's not enough. You got to come over the top of it with another shark card. So they keep overlapping each other. And that's, to me, that's a wicked microtransaction scheme. So other than that, it's a great game. Let's see here. Tantrum. ACC on home console will have one advantage. HDR, high dynamic range, makes games pop. The truth of the matter is, ACC on PC, Tantrum, I've never stopped to take a look to see if HDR has been implemented, because I played in VR. And currently, as of right now, we don't really have VR in headsets. I mean, at least, with this Oculus Rift, the Quest 2. I mean, I know the newer headsets that's supposed to be coming along, like PlayStation VR 2, is rumored that that's going to have HDR, which I think that will be a huge advantage right there. Being able to play GT7 in VR with HDR, that right there will be huge. That will probably add to the immersion. So yeah, good point there, Tantrum. What else did I think launch titles? I think Half-Life Alyx will be a launch title for PSVR 2. I think Lone Echo 1 and 2 could possibly be a launch title. And I think Boneworks could also be a launch title, because these are single-player games. Anybody who's played these games anybody, as far as PC goes, anybody who wants to play those games have already played them. And those games are just sitting on the shelf and not doing anything. So why not bring them over to the PlayStation VR 2, and then, a stunning game like Half-Life Alyx and Lone Echo 2. Those are two beautiful games. I don't think, as far as PSVR 2 goes, when they launched this headset, again, I already think that GT7 and GTA 5 are going to be a given as far as launch titles goes, but anything else around that, you need good-looking games. I don't think they can afford to launch this headset with old PS1-looking VR games, because even though I love VR, we got a lot of Atari 2600-looking shit in VR. We got a lot of games that look like they were made on the PS1, and that wouldn't be a good look if you got GT7, GTA, and everything else looks like it was made for PS1. You need to put some other good-looking games out there besides those two games, and I think Half-Life Alyx and Lone Echo 2 will fit the bill. I think those are graphically stunning games in VR, so I think that would be huge to have those games bolster the launch lineup for PSVR 2. So I expect to see that. Boneworks is another good-looking game, and Boneworks is kind of the game that took physics to the next level for VR. So I expect that to be a launch title. I think Contractors could give everybody a decent-looking multiplayer game. I don't know if that's going to be a launch title for PSVR 2. It's more a suggestion than anything. We do know that Pavlov Shack is going to be coming to PlayStation VR 2, and that's a little bit of a head scratcher because I feel like the PS5 should have enough power to run the PC version of Pavlov, but the developer has already said that I guess some of the updates that they're going to be making to Pavlov on PC is bleeding edge. So it sounds to me like, in so many words, he's saying that the PS5 won't be able to handle the PC version of Pavlov. Therefore, we're getting Pavlov Shack. We're getting the Quest version of Pavlov on PSVR 2. I don't think that's necessarily a good look because the character models look decent, but the rest of the environment has PS2 looking graphics. So, but as far as VR goes, it may be their only option as a first-person shooter game when PSVR 2 launches, unless the developers at Alvo have the PS5, the official PSVR 2 version, ready to go at launch. So we'll see how that plays out. Tantrum. There's no VR headset that supports HDR yet. PSVR 2 is the only VR headset that will display HDR in the headset, which that will be huge. I don't think people who are not into VR right now, I don't think they understand how huge that is going to be, because it'll separate the colors. I think it'll help give it a sharper picture, and I think it'll help make it look more immersive. So that will definitely be huge. And I think that is about it. The last one that I had, as far as my notes goes, were the GT7 FIA championships. I've already spoken about that. When they hold these championships on Gran Turismo TV, it'll be interesting to see if they integrate both the flat screen and the VR racers into one tournament, or will they separate them into different categories. So we'll see how that goes, but either way, it's going to be exciting. I really can't wait. And with that, I think it's about time to hang it up. I'm not going to do any racing right now because, again, I got to head out of here. I got to be at Best Buy at 11 o'clock so I can pick up a power supply for my son, head out his way, fix that, and then I'll be back. But I do plan on doing a low fuel sports motorsports daily race today because we are now at Barcelona. Nürburgring, that daily race is over with. I've already done that. Embarrassingly, I finished third out of only 3 people in the race. But it was huge though as far as gaining points. So yes, later on today, I am planning to do a low fuel motorsports daily race. We are at Barcelona. I've gotten a lot of practice time in on Barcelona the past few days, and I've been turning in consistent 158s. And I think when I raced against him a few days ago, I was able to crack 147.6. He hit 147.3. Now I just need to find a way to be able to do those kind of laps consistently, and I think I can compete because I've gotten fast enough that I can finish in the middle of the pack. And there's definitely room for improvement. So definitely tune into that when I do the Low Fuel Motorsports daily race later on today. I don't have an exact time. All I can tell you is that it will be sometime today. So with that, thanks for tuning in, everybody. And great conversation, Tantrum. I really appreciate it. And same to you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope your new year is going great. And so with that, I'm going to boogie on out of here and head to Best Buy, do what I got to do, and we'll see you guys later on. And here's to hoping that 2022 is the start of a great year for gaming. So with that, you guys know the line. Wakanda forever. Long live the king, and deuces. We will see you all later. Happy New Year, everybody. Have a good one.